we can get started.
We figure out this whole stage thing. Do 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 do.
How's it hanging, boys?
Hello, Gargoth.
Hello, Garlo.
I think we'll wait until we'll wait like another 3 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Just give people time to join because the pings take a while for people to show up.
Yep.
I don't even know how these stages work.
It's alright.
Just talk. That's about
First
it.
time.
Yes.
So we have the hardcore nerds in here in the dire need of fresh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I have personally been waiting. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, just hoping somebody would start something, but it just never happened. At some point, you just gotta say, you know what? I'm just gonna put my hat in the ring and just do it.
Yeah, please be kind to us, guys. That's true.
We'll make it happen.
Don't worry about it. It's nice to see some familiar faces in the crowd, to be honest.
Yeah, there's quite a few people that I've seen around.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give it another minute, and then we can go ahead and get started.
Awesome.
By the way, little disclaimer beforehand. This is all getting recorded, including chat, just so you know. Yeah. And uploaded in our YouTube or on our YouTube channel. Exactly.
Yep, YouTube, and we'll get a list of all the answers together and post it on Reddit. So if you don't want to watch YouTube, you can certainly go back and read it. All right, well, I guess we'll get started. So, quick introduction, I guess. Hi, I'm Nezin. I am going to be the lead GM. I'm going to be mostly spending my time hunting down people who are botting because I can't stand that. I'm also going to be responsible for the GM team as a whole, trying to make sure that everybody knows kind of what's going on, try to keep things consistent. Of course, if anything happens, I'll be the one taking care of it. But yeah, I hate bots, and so that's my job. Is we're going to squish all of them.
Yep.
Exactly.
I'm Gallo. I am Gallo. I am the lead developer at the moment. We have a couple other developers. I'm mostly working on back-end tooling for GM, so I'm working a lot with Nezin. And yeah, I'd definitely say I hate bots, botters, gold buyers, etc., just as much as Nezin. So, yeah. Gargoth.
All right, I'm Gargoth. I'm the co-producer, in quotations, of this project. I'm just here for general background work, basically. Looking out for the community, helping where I can, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay.
Yeah, all right. Hey, well, I'm Kay. I'm responsible for project management, so basically coordination and the general direction of the project. And we started this project because, as you can understand, I think with the Q&A, the website and everything, the direction that we don't like how things are going with Blizzard. And we all hate RMT bots, and we think those things destroy the game. So we want to do what we can, and as it's been said, no project was happening, so somebody needed to step up. I know that we are unknown people, but we all players like you. We love the game, and we are just taking a chance with what we can, and let's hope for the best. No try, no gain.
Said.
Absolutely. So there are a handful of staff members who were unable to make it today, mostly time zone related. So we will be having QAs in the future too, and we will be rotating the times a little bit so that we can make sure all staff members are able to come hang out and answer questions. As far as questions go today, we come through the question forum and the suggestion forum and kind of wrote some stuff down, so we'll be going through those. And then, of course, we will continue to do so with future Q&A sessions. So with that, I think we are ready to get started. You ready, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first question we saw that had been asked several times is, will we be using the 1.12 mount system?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In general, we will be using the original 900G mount and the 100G riding cost system.
Yeah, we want the mounts to feel rare and exclusive. We don't want everybody to be collecting mounts and then they don't mean anything anymore. So 900G for one mount.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't have everybody running around with a mount right when you get going. It's kind of silly.
Yep.
And then one of the other questions was, are we going to get time to create characters before the server launches? And I know a lot of people, they use names and they want to be able to have a chance to have those. So we decided that, yeah, we're gonna let players create characters 2 to 3 days before the server actually launches. You'll be able to log in and create your character so it's there. And then when we launch, you'll be able to get on and play.
Yeah. I see no downside to that, and it just seems to be pretty much a standard for every server that gets launched, so we'll keep it consistent.
And then let's see. So will there be a channel that can be used for guild recruitment?
I think it's too early for that. We will definitely consider it in the future, whether it's on Discord or on forums. But right now, we don't want to put that forward yet.
Yeah, we don't want to open up like a world chat. It's very important that we keep everything. We want it to be more like an actual game, and I think doing a world chat kind of breaks that. You need to be in an area and using the general chat, or if you're in a city, you need to be using trade to trade things. So trying to keep things kind of locked down, at least for the time being, makes the most sense, I think.
I think I misread the question. Sorry.
No, yeah. So like, are we going to use a channel for guild recruitment? And I think that falls closer to like world chat, and we're trying to not do that. So maybe something on the forums, or just go out and meet people. But we don't need a global channel for guild recruitment.
Yeah.
We've also seen a lot of what are we going to do as far as punishment for gold sellers or buyers? Gold selling and buying. Absolutely not. It's RMT. It is not acceptable. Anybody caught doing either of those things will be permanently banned as soon as they are caught. Not going to play around with that.
Instantly. Yeah. And we're talking about instantly, not like we put you on a list and you will get banned in a week, like you're gone. Bye.
Yeah.
And I do plan on making it very clear, like if we ban somebody for gold selling or buying or things like that, we will announce, somewhere on the forums or something that like, hey, we banned, this player or this account for buying gold or selling it. So if you see them around again, you know that they're involved in that, or if you see them trying to attempt to evade a ban, we can go and investigate and make sure that they are not coming back.
Yeah, and we're hoping that strong actions will cause strong reactions. If we have strong policies against botting, gold buying, etc., etc., it'll just make people think twice before they want to go out and buy gold and get followed up with a permanent ban.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like there is no reason for people to be doing that. It ruins servers, and we've seen that in the past, and so like zero tolerance. We don't need that on the server.
100%.
So I have a question for Gallo. What are we doing for like beta and stress testing?
Beta and stress testing. So we aren't fully sure about the open beta. That one will have to be discussed further, and we will definitely be considering it. We will 100% be doing a stress test, maybe 1 or 2, depending on our needs. Stress testing is super important. We're going to need it to validate a lot of things, make sure we can handle the load, make sure our server specs are correct, etc., etc. Closed beta, 100%. We have QA, we have people that we want to work with. We want to make sure that every nook and cranny of WoW has been gone over by a big collection of WoW nerds that really cover every single edge case that we can think of. We've spent a lot of time sitting around talking about like what we find issues with the game, but ultimately we need a collection of some hardcore nerds to just really beat into the ground what is the details, like what are the actual details that need to be corrected.
Yeah, so a bunch of extra hands finding bugs so that they can be fixed, and then a bunch of, people, we fix something, and then we're going to have people go and verify, like, yep, nope, this works correctly now, and we can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Let's see, another question. Are we changing anything for NPC leashes or kiting range? No, we're not going to do that. The original experience was, people could kite bosses into major cities, and it was absolutely part of the game. So we're not going to be changing that. If a group of people want to do that, good for them. It's fine. That's just kind of how things work.
It made vanilla. A lot of the time, though, if there is problematic situations, we would encourage people to either group up and kill the mob or group up and kill the player, etc., etc. However, if there is a actual problematic situation that pops up that can't be solved by the players, GMs will be involved, but we're going to be hands off as much as we can.
Absolutely. Another thing that has come up a ton, and I totally get why, is are we going to let people have second bank alt so they can go into the major cities and trade with them? And the answer is no. At any time, you are not allowed to multi-box. It doesn't matter if you've got 2 clients running, 4 clients running, 6 clients running. It is not tolerated. If we catch you doing it, you will be permanently banned. However, we do understand that it can be frustrating, and many people want to do something like that. So we have made the decision that we will allow instant mail between all characters on your account. So if you really need to have a bank alt, we're not going to time gate the characters on your account for an hour, but we're not going to let you multi-box. That's just, it's not tolerated. It's not okay. You can create a second account if you want to play both Horde and Alliance, but you cannot be logged into both of them at the same time. It's just multi-boxing is not acceptable. You know, it can create all kinds of problems.
Yeah, nothing more to add.
Yep.
Let's see here. So, we've received a couple of questions about iMorph and T-Morph. Does anybody want to cover that?
Yeah. Gallo,
Yeah,
go for
so
it.
iMorph and T-Morph. It's kind of tricky because I do acknowledge that it's not a problem outside of, I mean, really, it's not a problematic thing. We aren't going to support or allow any kind of third-party programs like that. It's just opening the floodgates to modifying the client is really where we're sitting on that. For really generally most anything that's not really anything that's not an add-on to your client is just not going to be allowed.
And so that's going to include NamPower, right?
Yeah. Same thing with NamPower.
Yeah, because if you're modifying your client, you know, that's outside of what the game was. So it's not, you know, we're not going to support that.
We're aiming for vanilla. You start modifying it, becomes less vanilla, becomes something that was never intended. And on top of that, it's just giving a couple players the benefit when the others are not.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Let's see here. So non-raid quests being available at launch. I think this would be a good one for Kay or Gargoth.
Well, we've been discussing this one back and forth. It's a pretty difficult decision, but I think we just want to go with the progressive realm. And I mean, the difficulty lies more with the quest hubs. The flight pass, no way. They're not gonna be there at launch. They're gonna follow the progressive route, and we're leaning towards doing the same with the quests. So, Hinterlands and Searing Gorge probably won't have the quest hubs at launch.
Cool, yeah. I think that's that's just part of the experience. Let's see here. Are we changing the cost to respect talents?
No,
No.
no way.
Yeah, I think that's kind of ridiculous. It should be something you actually have to, think
We
about
need-
instead of going and, oh, I want to be something else today.
Your character, like you build a reputation on servers as being known as the healer, whatever, the DPS, the tank, whatever. When it becomes too easy to flip-flop, yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, it loses meaning.
On top of that, vanilla needs gold sinks. It's not a very gold sink heavy game. A lot of it's just mostly trading money with people or trading with people, which is not a gold sink.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so then,
we're not gonna go back on this one. This is 100%.
okay, and then so in line with that, so we've had questions about, why are we taking away the ability to solo DMT? What about, solo farming, AoE farming with mages and stuff like that? So does somebody want to cover that?
Yeah, I mean, we don't. I mean, there's many reasons. First of all, we don't want players to be able to solo one of the supposedly last dungeon with the best loot gear in the game before the raids. We don't want people to be able to, like the hunter, to finish DMT and have the chest and be like, hey, your ring is in it. You want to come and loot it? No, we want people to run these dungeons organically. So this is gonna happen mostly for like some outlier farms, like DMT, for example. We don't plan on nerfing all the gold farms, of course, as few as possible. And yeah, it will also help to combat the inflation, because DMT allows you to get a lot of gold per hour. And we just think it's unhealthy for both the gameplay and the economy overall.
I think the majority of the AoE farming, we're not trying to kill farming. That's not our goal. Our goal is to kill the outliers. You don't get gold inflation through trading and RMT and whatever. Like, those don't actually generate gold on their own. Where you get gold inflation is from the absurd farming methods. Either through botting, where players can't keep up, or through just straight up broken farming methods. When you cut the supply for the ability to get a ridiculous amount of gold, you generally keep the economy a lot more healthy, and you encourage players to not just play one class to do that farming method. It's giving more of a fair advantage, or lesser advantage to everybody, whatever the phrasing would be.
Yeah, and then the crazy gold. I think one of the problems with having those huge gold injections is like it could lead to encouragement of like gold selling, and then obviously we do not allow GDKP, and so preventing these massive amounts of gold kind of going to the economy and then just shifting around and no new gold being generated. We don't need to encourage people farming gold and then maybe trying to sell it. We really take a hard stance on that. So taking away the ability to do that is, I think, very important.
So yeah, if you need an item from DMT, just make a normal group and go do it.
Play the game for once, please. Thank you.
So then there's also been a lot of questions regarding some PvP things. So like rank balancing and let's see, there's been a handful of other things. So rank balancing, I don't know. I saw another one too, but
was it the
handful of
the cooldown of the trinkets?
Yeah, trinket cooldown and stuff. So the handful of PvP questions, we're going to be working with the beta testers in the closed test realm to kind of go through a bunch of stuff. These are the crazy nerds who may have spent their entire WoW career PvPing. So we want to go through and say, hey, does this work? Is this broken? What can we do about it? What's going on? Because we don't need anything that was like, we want to keep it vanilla. We're not trying to make a billion changes. We don't want to make any changes, but we do recognize that some things didn't work the way they were supposed to work. So we are going through that, but we need people who specifically PvP to review that with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is something that we'll be working with QnA for. Or not QnA, QA for.
Okay, so then we've got a couple of questions regarding fishing. So like time-based things like nightfin, where you could only catch it at certain times of day. We also got a question about fishing pools and fishing in AV.
Yeah, so the nightfin, we're going to keep it, if that's broken on V mangoes, then that is something we will be fixing. In terms of fishing pools, we're going to keep that progressive. We are a progressive realm.
And I think there's no reason to
Be fishing
have
in AV.
in AV.
Like seriously, go
Yep.
fight the other faction, please. Thank you. It's a war.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not. It's not a profession sink. It's a battleground. We're not trying to have a bunch of people sitting at a pond doing whatever while your team or the opposing team is trying to win or trying really hard to lose. Some people really, just can't quite figure it out. But no, there's no reason to be fishing in AV. Let's see here. So, couple of like progression questions too. So like, are we going to have the original epic mounts? Are the dungeon and raids going to be progressive, things like that? And then the same thing we already talked about, flight paths. We're following the progressive timeline, but I think we're also going to follow the progression for dungeons and raids as well as the original epic mounts.
Yeah. They are already coded in vMango, so it would be stupid to change it. So yeah, you can expect the dungeons to be much harder in the beginning.
Yeah. Something else we've seen a ton is DHKs. Will they be part of the game? No. We're not doing DHK.
Yeah.
I don't think I've
Pretty
heard a
much.
single positive about them yet. It seems to be pretty standard that everybody just hates them and wants them gone.
Well, there were some outlying criers who really want to have DHK because more quest givers, more civilians. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
no.
I mean, we can't make decisions based off of how it works for every single person. Like you're not going to be, if you make a choice, you can't. It's not going to be the perfect solution for 100% because there will always be somebody who's not happy with the change because it breaks their type of gameplay. I've seen screenshots of people who play the Dishonor meta, where their whole point of the game is to just rack up fucking dishonorable kills. Yeah, I mean it is what it is.
Yeah, there's no and there's no reason to like cater to, a group of people. We're trying to do vanilla. If you've got like 4 people who are trying to do the dishonorable kill meta, like it makes absolutely no sense. There are going to be all these weird things, where it's just like, well, I want X, Y, and Z because that's the only way that I play. And probably the grand majority of people don't do that, and it becomes not vanilla. So those are things that we're not going to touch.
Yeah, that ties pretty much into another question, the one about the level 60s camping the low level areas. Maybe we should take that one.
Sure. Do you want me to grab that one?
Sure.
I can take it. Yeah, so basically, the only restriction we're gonna have is that we are not gonna allow the level 60s to come and kill lobbies in the starting zones, so like the small 1 to 5 areas, like Northshire Abbey. But besides that, everything is fair game. If people are ganking you in Red Ridge or whatever, it is your choice to call people, leave, go do another quest, whatever. We are not gonna cater to people bitching about high level players doing whatever they want.
We should clarify too for the 1 to 5 area, the really low level, the starting zones. We're not talking about griefing. We're talking about killing. We're talking about things like a level 60 going in there and then just AoEing down the whole zone. No more mobs left. No nothing left. 100% bannable.
Yeah. Like, because
Yeah.
that's just pure fucking griefing. There's no reason to do it at all. Like,
Yeah, like people should be able to like start a character and get through the starting zone, right? Like if you're being a shithead, trying to make it so that people can't start a character, we don't want you around.
Generally, our policies seem to lean towards if you can do something about it as a player, you need to do that. But when it starts leaning in towards things that can't be I don't know, cannot be counterattacked. That's not fair game. If you are a horde player and you're attacking horde players by doing something they can't attack you back, you're killing all their mobs. You just follow level 1s around and you just kill everything. There's no fair gameplay to that. They can't fight back, etc., etc. It's a little bit different story when you start moving into different zones, and the zones are now a lot bigger. They can start. It's a lot harder for level 60 to wipe out Elwyn Forest. Like, they can't really do that. And on top of that, it's a lot easier to get. Hey, can we get some level 60s up in here? This guy is griefing. Please come, spawn kill this guy. Spawn camp.
Right, exactly, because once you leave, like, the starting zone has its own separate, like, general chat, but once you leave, every area is tied to a major city, so there's always going to be people, who aren't in the city. They're kind of right outside it, hanging out, dueling, running back and forth between things. So when you pop into general there will be level 60s around who can come and help, but you're not going to see, generally speaking, you're not going to see a level 60, hanging out in a starting zone. There's no necessary, there's no reason for them to really be there. So, like, getting help is incredibly challenging, if not impossible. Maybe you have a friend who can come do things, but, like, for the majority of players, getting through the 1 through 5 zone, safely before they get out into the, next step where there are going to be people around, is just, like, it just makes sense.
I just wanted to
So-
throw something in, Nazin, before we
Yeah,
before
of
we
course.
go any further. In general, like, when you have a question that can be answered, is this something I can or I could personally take care of, or is this in my responsibility? If somebody griefs your mob, or, like, we all know the Engor dilemma we had on certain private servers, it's something you can take care of and actually just start socializing, right? And get connections to people and do it as a group. This is what a MMORPG is meant to be. So take care of it yourselves, and you will have a lot of fun.
I do acknowledge that he was killing a specific NPC that is basically one-shottable by him. And the solution, there was an in-game solution that just wasn't utilized. It's not a great solution, but it's not something that needed GM intervention. Realistically, in a situation like that, it would probably be better to see like a group of level 60s just AoE bombing the entire area. Like, just grab 20 level 60s, 60 mages, AoE bomb the whole area, clear it out, and then just spawn camp the player, do whatever you got to do. Like, it's not a solution to go to GMs and say, we need GM intervention because this person is killing my NPC. If it's a big enough problem on the server, then the server needs to get together and fix it.
As a faction.
Okay, there were a handful of questions about the 1.14 client, about certain add-ons being broken, or add-ons that won't be able to be used. There was a question maybe sort of related, like voiceover for minions. I think that is a good question for Gallo, although if anybody else wants to chime in.
Yeah, so we're not doing the add-on channel. That's not vanilla. It wasn't in the vanilla until the very end. As for voicing, anything like that, I mean, I'm not familiar, but if 1.4 took away the voicing for Warlock pets, not a ton I can do. If you want to, you could probably get an add-on for that. In terms of breaking add-ons, though, without the add-on communication channel, yeah, there's things that will break. that rely on it. I don't want it to make it sound like none of your add-ons will work. A lot of them will continue to work just fine. Yeah, I mean that's really about it. You're in terms of which add-ons will work, you're probably going to want to test it. If there's specific add-ons that you guys are having a big problem with that you absolutely need, I can give them a test and let you guys know.
But yeah, I think probably for the grand majority of things, just like there are so many add-ons out there, right? So like we can't test everything. You're just gonna have to go and figure out if it works or not. And if it doesn't, either find a workaround or don't use it.
Yep.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we're talking about 1.14 add-ons.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, this is vanilla. We're trying to keep it vanilla. 1.14 really opened the door to a lot of problematic add-ons, and we're just trying to avoid that. Keep it vanilla.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no, reason to open up things that weren't there.
Yep.
We've had a bunch of questions about Hand of Justice and where it will be located.
At the end
Yeah,
of the dungeon.
so yeah, exactly. We're gonna put it on the Emperor for the whole timeline because by allowing 1.14 on the server, you have an advantage when you use that client that the 1.12 cannot. So we also think it promotes running the whole dungeon, and it's a bit more entertaining overall. So yeah, Hand of Justice, Emperor, whole timeline.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I see Kebab in the chat. The quests are going to be progressive, so not everything is going to be available at the start. Just the same as like the flight paths. We're not, it's just kind of progressive. Everything wasn't available right at the beginning, so everything's not going to be available, when we start the server. Let's see here. There's been one question. It was kind of a, I think it's just a small one. It's actually, there are two questions. So there was a question about proper stealth detection when you're in ghost form. And there was also a question about things like some of the pathing that was kind of weird that people were seeing.
Yeah, so there's definitely some broken pathing for sure. Kind of a weird one for sure. In terms of fixing pathing, that is definitely something we will be doing. Yeah, I mean a lot of stuff like I know the SM fountain needs to be dealt with. I would honestly, if you guys have lists of broken areas that you guys are very familiar with, let me know. I would like to look into all of that. A lot of the times it's just broken map data that can really be modified, and it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but in general, people should expect Everlook-like pathing.
Oh, right. Yes.
So it'll be similar, but yeah, we can go through, and if we find certain things, we can fix it. Okay, Kay, Gargoth, either of you, how are going to deal with like faction imbalance if it happens?
Yeah, I mean we're gonna keep a close eye on the faction balance, and if needs be, we're gonna intervene, and maybe either temporarily
potentially
limit.
temporary, like not like we will not completely ban everything or something. It's just a temporary limiting character creation on a specific faction, right? So
Yeah.
As well as also a faction balance meter on the website. That seems to help a lot.
but
Yeah.
I appeal to the community to take care of that a little bit of themselves. well, nobody likes to play on an empty PvP server where just Alliance or Horde dominate, right?
Yep.
So when I see Caliber said something, and the question is about the Talisman of the Binding Shard, and I think we're not going to make a comment on that. It'll be you'll find out. Let's see here. I think that's basically all that we saw. There was a question about summoning spots. So summoning spots are kind of a mixed bag. There were reasons to do it. There were reasons to not do it. There are reasons to allow it. There are reasons to not allow it. So we're going to go through with the closed beta with the QA team, and we're going to investigate and see kind of what's going on with that, and we can answer that question more at a later point in time. We're also going to use them to look at things like the diamond flasking. We'll look at power shifting. We'll look at the sit macro, proccing reckoning. Some of these things aren't like a true priority, right? We're working on bug fixes and making sure that everything is, working right, but they're definitely things that we're aware of and we will be checking them. There's also a question like HKS leaderboard. Some people, seem to be interested in on like a website, and we know about it, but it's not on our priority list currently. It's something that, maybe we consider it later, but right now it's just not on the priority list.
Yep.
And I think
there is a few extra ones that we didn't
Yeah,
take.
for example, will the /sit macro proc reckoning? It's also
just
not on the
talked about it.
priority list.
Yep.
yeah.
But it's on the radar. Like there are many things. There are very many outlying questions, right? Like very specific to a specific item or a specific mechanic. We have pretty much we have a really big radar. We have many discussions inside the staff and with our testers. So we are looking into it most likely.
Yeah, there was also one question about are we gonna make Sunflower be able to be taken by 40-man raids? No, this is no. Also another question about the skeletons, how long they're gonna remain in the world. We're gonna try to make it vanilla again, so you can expect the skeletons to remain.
That's actually quite a funny thing, to be honest. Like just a personal point of preference.
There's also one about selling loot from soloable dungeons or bosses. It's like, does this fall under GDKP? So it's not necessarily GDKP, but we also have a, you can't sell or advertise runs. So generally speaking, no, you can't do that. It's kind of the same as doing the, DMT runs with the like, come loot the ring or whatever. We don't need, people coming in buying loot from dungeons. Obviously if you get something that's BOE, feel free to like throw it in trade or put it on the auction house or whatever, but that whole like selling something for a soloable dungeon, doesn't work.
That's one step away from being a boosted run, and like it's just towing the line between boosted run and GDKPs, and yeah, it's
Yeah, so like remaining consistent, with GDKP or selling runs or stuff, we're not going to do that. There was some question about like BattleBit voice chat and like making it sound garbled or whatever to the other faction. We have nothing to do with BattleBit. We're not going to help you figure that out. That's kind of, it's not that's not our job, right? So we're not going to touch BattleBit.
maybe we'll hook up a Ventrilo server.
Yeah, we can go back to Vent. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
What else, Kay? Can you think of anything else that we might have missed from the questions we gathered, like up to 12 hours before this?
I think we covered everything.
Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. Then we will upload the recording to YouTube, and I'll go ahead and get the questions and answers we put out today. Please continue to put things into the Q&A questions. We do go over them frequently. We will reply to them if we can. If not, we will continually schedule either weekly or bi-weekly these kind of Q&A sessions. At some point in the future, what we'll do is, coming next is we'll have these at different times, because I know this is an international server, right? We've got people in all different kinds of time zones, so we do want to make announcements like, hey, we're doing this Q&A session on this day. We really appreciate everybody from being here and hanging out, and we will continue to keep you guys updated as far as where we're at, how CTR is going, when we're getting ready to launch. Eventually we're going to be hiring more staff members, so we'll make announcements and ask people to apply for that. So that's just kind of what's going on. Does anybody else have any closing thoughts?
Nope.
Yeah, this project takes a lot of time, so I hope people keep that in mind and treat us nicely.
Right, be patient.
I mean, we're doing this for free. Sometimes it kind of feels like people forget about that.
Yep. We want a vanilla server. That's what we're really aiming for. We're sick of Classic. It was not what we were promised. It's morphed into something not what we were promised at all. And we just want vanilla again. And this is our attempt at it. We're pushing pretty much for our dream server. And yes, Kay is right. This is all for free. We're putting a lot of time and effort into a free project, so a bunch of negativity doesn't help. Yeah, hopefully we can get our vanilla server that we've always wanted.
Awesome. Anything from you, Garoth?
In total, no. Just post your questions in Q&A, and we will take care of it the coming weeks, and we will do this on a regular basis with all our staffs. And yeah, just drop the questions, and we're open to discuss everything.
Yeah, make sure it's Q&A and not just posting a random comment, because a lot of these edge cases are not just a off-the-cuff answer. Like we can't make a choice or really get a true informed opinion on a lot of these very unique edge cases, and we're going to have to talk to people. We're going to have to discuss it amongst ourselves, and a lot of the time people don't consider the overall health of the server, and they're just very interested in their specific gameplay. Making sure the server is stable, the economy is stable, there is an overzealous amount of trolling or harassment to other players is like another thing to consider. It's just, yeah, we have to make sure that everything is considered before making decisions on these specific edge cases. So
Yeah,
Q&A questions, very important.
Yeah, and then please put questions into Q&A. Like, we have a lot of active people in chat, and if you ask a question there, we may not catch it. If you really want to know the answer, or you think other people want to know the answer, please use the Q&A that we have set up on the Discord, because if you're asking a specific question in chat and one of us who knows about this isn't around, it very well could be missed. So it's really important to use the tool that we gave you to ask us all questions.
And yeah, it's important to note that some design decisions will not be reconsidered. So it's going to be a PvP server, so people shouldn't be asking, and the world buff ticking while offline is the same. So there's
there's some
sorry to
rules
say,
that are
but
just
sorry
set
to
in
say, but there
stone.
is no use in discussing that for hours.
Yeah, that's how it is. Exactly. Well, Nezin, wrap it up.
Thank you all for joining. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, afternoon, morning. I know everybody here is from a bunch of different time zones, so I'll go ahead and we'll get this uploaded and posted, and then in the next day or two, I'll go ahead and create another event for the next Q&A session. So thank you for joining. I appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you. See you later.
Yeah, bye.